And now, over the last 2 years, use of cash by Gen Z has gone up 69%.
Really?
A huge increase.
Well, they're the ones that'll never, if you read the headlines, will never be able to afford a house.
That's
will
true.
never be
What
able
they
to
say.
afford the life, the quote-unquote American dream.
I know. So I think when they're out, I guess in an apartment or whatever with roommates, they are taking that cash stuffing to heart and literally putting it in envelopes.
And not going into debt.
And not going into debt.
Yeah.
That's their whole goal, is to just spend what they have, which is admirable, honestly. I mean, good for them. But cash coming back, because you can't do that with a credit card, of course, or a debit card. You could do it, you could look at it, but they say there's something about holding the actual money that makes you spend less money.
It's true.
Which is 100% true.
And you know, what you got is what you got. And that's it.
Yeah, that's right. And
I don't know how you pay some bills with that, with cash, but
I guess maybe
they don't have bills.
Well, the bills, yeah, usually that's online stuff.
Well, maybe they take their bills and they say, okay, I got to go put this in the bank to cover this bill and this bill.
Cash stuffing, is an old school budgeting trick that directs people to divide their money into different categorized envelopes and only spend from the designated stash. Any left over at the end of the month goes immediately into the bank, into savings.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a smart idea.
I'd done it.
It's a smart idea. Nearly half of Generation Z respondents say we're doing that.
How would you say your children, Kelly, are with money? Profligate?
Profligate. That's exactly what those are the two biggest profligates I've ever seen in my life.
Profligating all the time. All over the place, they profligate.
Like my son would came home the other day, it's like, cop the Jersey Mike's on your card. Thanks. Appreciate that.
When does that end?
They need to know what money is. They need to figure that. That's what my daughter did the other day. I shouldn't say this. This may embarrass her. We bought some snacks and stuff. We're back in the kitchen now, so we're restocking the kitchen.
Cheers.
So I was out at the grocery store, and she said she wanted Cheez-Its, I believe was what she wanted. So I bought a box of Cheez-Its. All right.
Those toasty ones?
Yes, I'm a fan of. Look at Dave. See that?
You know what's right and wrong, son.
Do you see the common ground? We can disagree. We can disagree, but we come together.
We're Israel and Egypt.
That's right. Yes.
I'm begging.
He's a 1,000 times yes.
You're Jimmy Carter.
Together on that. You know that Jimmy Carter is still living.
Still with us.
I just saw him today. I didn't see him.
He's just proving a point now, isn't he?
He's unbelievable. He's been in hospice care 3 months. He's eating ice cream every night and enjoying it. Apparently, he's in great spirits, Jimmy Carter.
So am I.
Yes.
Every night.
Yes.
Strawberry.
So, my daughter, I bought the Cheez-Its, and she comes home from school the other day, and she sits, talks about it for a while. She says, well, I'm going up to my room. She grabs the box of Cheez-Its. I say, where are you going, young lady? She says, I'm going up to my room. I said, do we take snacks up to the room? She wanted to take the entire box of Cheez-Its up to the room. Her mother and I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I said, no snacks in the room. Because my son, we had just cleaned out his room, and it had cups and wrappers and all this.
Because clearly snacks go to the room.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Well, what it is you go to bed. And then it's free reign.
And then,
you're not around all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, they can take the snacks up. Yeah, you don't need
everything.
to know.
Oh, yeah.
I
She
mean,
made the mistake of doing it in front of you.
She did. She just was like walking up with the box.
You don't know till you're destroying a colony of something. I live here.
Exactly.
It's the right thing. You got to make them take a little bowl or a little bag full, because they'll be like me. I eat the whole damn box when I was a kid.
Okay. So my wife said, pour a little bit into a little baggie and then take it up. She goes, okay, I will. So time goes by. We didn't even see her. We saw her over there doing it, and then she disappeared. Well, 30 minutes later, my wife gets up to go into the kitchen to do something. She opens the trash can. She goes, do you know what your daughter has done?
I bet I do.
I said, no. And she said, are you ready for this? She took the entire box of Cheez-Its and poured them into a very large Ziploc bag.
Love the big Ziploc.
Like the leftovers you put your Christmas ham in.
Love it, yeah.
You said put it in a bag.
And then, yes, later she came back. I said, you get down here this instant. And she came down and said, did you? And she goes, well, you said to put it in a bag. And I said, I didn't mean.
And I want him to stay fresh in my room.
I didn't mean. It's unbelievable.
She's brilliant.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, she played me. She played me again on that one.
That's all right.
This is about parenting as well. Now, my wife was ahead of the game on this. Like Dave was ahead of the game on cash. My wife was ahead of the game on this. Apparently, people are noticing now, and it's become an online conversation. On Reddit, people are asking about this. A lot of smaller kids in parks and in public places parents are whipping out plastic toilets and letting them use the toilet right there. Instead of using
Outdoors?
public toilet. Yeah, instead of using public toilets. Which is, now my wife did that in the car. Remember, in our minivan.
Yes, she's not crazy. Not in park.
In our minivan, we had a plastic toilet, which she would put a grocery bag down in, let the children do their business in. And
Mostly tinkle?
Mostly tinkle, but it didn't matter. You could do whatever. She
choose.
She had a roll of toilet
Are there
paper.
wiping facilities?
She had a roll of toilet paper, and she would let them finish their business, then put everything in the bag, and then tie it up, and then we would stop at the next rest area and dispose of it. All right.
I'm sure that didn't always make it to a rest area trash can.
We tried our best. We did.
Was that ever flung into the woods?
That's private. I'm not going to.
Because that's your DNA.
Confirm or deny. Parents now are bringing portable toilet bowls for their children to use. It really started during the pandemic because public toilets were considered like, a lot of them were locked. And
you didn't want to interact with other humans.
Didn't want to interact with other humans. So people are noticing that they set them up under trees within feet of playgrounds, picnic areas, and the kids go over and use those, and then the parents dispose of the waste on the way out of the park or whatever public facility they're in. And now we only did it in the van. Again, I don't want to
crazy.
We're not crazy, but we did it. We would do it in the van. That's
everybody has their own version of cleaning things up, and I think a lot of times kids will go, especially. Well, I mean, females have to sit every time, and then they do it, and then they go over there and they just go on the side of the playground and dump it out.
Yeah.
They don't. They're not going to dispose of it properly. The rest of us are going to have to suffer.
Well, the parent is supposed to dispose of it properly.
Well, you know parents.
I do.
You know yourself.
I do. That's what led to the unfortunate spraying of urine all over me on that disastrous trip back from Disney World.
Oh, that I remember.
That was awful. That
Learned
was
your lesson that day.
Worst water ride in all of Disney.
That's right. Go about Splash Mountain.
That is so my son, too. That is so my son. He peed as we're pulling into Disney. He's like, I gotta go. I said, we're getting out of the car in 2 minutes. I gotta go. He uses the plastic toilet.
What's his age at this point?
14.
No, he was. Golly,
He was over 10.
He was
wasn't
10. I'd say he was 10.
Okay.
Because my daughter was about 7.
Okay.
That's about right. And so he pees in the plastic toilet. But we're rushing. Now they come to get the valet. We leave that urine in that vehicle for 7 days. We don't see the urine again.
Hot Florida sun.
Hot Florida sun. Don't see it. Stop for gas in Manning, South Carolina. My wife turns around, grabs the toilet to move it to get to something else, and urine everywhere.
Been sitting there the whole time.
The whole time. We didn't even remember. We had no idea. My wife thought a Disney employee.
That's right.
In order to
The valet.
some sort of vindictive move broke into our vehicle, not to steal anything, but to urinate.
Saw your potty and
Saw
had
the
to use
potty
it.
and had to use it right then. But yeah, apparently this is a thing that's happening, and it's because of just that. This was
How would you feel about seeing a parent do that at a
very
park?
weird. I think that's very.
It's like a
weird.
dog park for humans.
Yeah, yeah. That would.
Yes.
I'd be a little thrown by that when I saw it.
I think I told you this when we were in China. We went to Tiananmen Square, and it was packed.
Yeah.
That was this is pre-pandemic, thankfully. And that was the day when everybody was taking my picture, and I didn't know it because they'd never seen
That's right.
a 6-foot American.
Because you were so
They're
large.
very-
though.
most of these people come from the countryside. They don't see Americans.
That's right. That you were so.
They were taking pictures with me.
You were a giant.
I was a giant.
You were
a
God.
giant to him. That's right. That's right.
But the kids, we noticed some of the little kids, like the toddlers, the kids who could walk, but they had pants with like a split in the crotch. And I asked our friends who lived there in Beijing for a time, I said, what's going on with that? He said, it's for the kids. That's where they pee. And we were standing there in Tiananmen Square, packed. I mean, it's a lot of people there because you're waiting in line to go see Mao's body.
Yeah.
And the kids would just simply squat right there, and it's all concrete. No grass inside. And they just simply pee right there. And you just have to get out of the way.
Are you serious?
All the male, female, they just drop and pee right there. Right in the middle of the square.
And are they always cleaning it up?
No.
They're not cleaning it up.
No.
It just runs in the
It
streets.
just runs.
Now that I don't care for. That just I
There's
don't.
plenty
Like,
of countries that do that. I
But
would think.
it's for by and large, it's a very clean country.
that's what you said. You said
Yes,
it's clean.
unbelievably clean because
That's the communist.
on
part.
our block, on our block where we stayed in our apartment building,
yeah.
you look out in the mornings and there were 30 people
Cleaning.
sweeping the sidewalks, taking the trash out.
Yeah. Do you think they washed it off like overnight or in the early morning?
They probably do.
They want the Western money there.
Well, yeah,
dollars.
Yeah, of course.
You guys don't have a pair of shorts like that? That's just me.
Just you.
It's crotchless, but not for what you think.
Britt, you're talking about kids. Now, they're peeing in plastic toilets in parks and places like that. Go ahead, Britt.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, so last summer, my family and a group of our friends had all taken a vacation out to Yellowstone, which is awesome in itself. But we're there at an overlook there at the lower falls of the Yellowstone. One of those things, probably 100 people stuck in that little area there. All of a sudden, this young Asian child who was with his parents just decides that he's got to go and he can't hold it. And he starts just peeing everywhere. We were just stunned. So one of our group kind of pushes the kid away, and we're just like, oh my God, what was that? We're all freaking out. Think we got to go take showers and everything, hoping we don't get arrested for shoving this little kid. But my gosh, that was the craziest thing we've ever, experienced. Just getting peed on out in the middle of the public.
Well, now you know why.
That's what little kids do. That's all they know.
That's what they do in China.
When they need to pee, they pee.
They just stop and pee. God.
I give a little latitude for kids that are under 3.
Yeah, I mean, these were the ones I saw were like 2 and 3.
Well, I agree, but I give latitude. But my goodness, I mean, just to have everybody there in Tiananmen Square just peeing, those kids like that, it would run. The streets will run with urine.
That's the way it was. I mean, I think there's countries out there that are still like that. If you go to, I mean,
well, let's
look at like India.
Crocker is talking about the subject of the call is peeing around the world.
Please,
Crocker.
That's got a topic.
Crocker, go ahead.
Hey, Kelly, P1 from day one.
Thank you.
So in comment to Demm, and then in addition to what Dave just said, so I've literally been all over the world. You go in, I mean, I've been in Shanghai and Beijing, and I mean, not in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong was pretty Western, but yeah, kids, I mean, you can be in a vehicle or walking down the street, and all of a sudden you just see a kid either squat or whip it out and take a leak right there.
Wow.
But more importantly, I've been in India 7 or 8 different times, and you have to watch where you're walking in the street, because I have seen grown men drop trowel in the middle of the street and take care of their business.
I couldn't even.
You just drop it and move on like a bird?
I can't imagine.
Pretty much.
I cannot imagine.
These people are this is the poorest of the poor. I mean, they don't have a bathroom to go in.
There's no bathrooms on the streets. There's no store. There's no nothing. You can
no McDonald's.
There's no McDonald's.
The
there?
most populated countries in the world.
That's the most.
It is.
India
Now
just passed
India's
China.
#1.
Those are number 1 and 2. India and China.
I mean, these are your slum dogs.
Thank you, Crocker. Oh man, there's a scene in Slumdog Millionaire where, boy, that comes into play.
Raw sewage in the middle of the
Raw
street.
sewage in the middle of the street. We don't think about stuff like that here, do we? I mean, if you saw that in New York City, you'd be like, what? Or here, it'd be like,
You'd
what?
be arrested.
You call the cops.
Yeah, of course you would. Exactly. Now, okay, this leads right into an update from something yesterday. The gentleman in the bar in Florida who wound up losing his arm to an alligator. You remember this story?
Do I in the video?
Oh, the video. That's it. That's what we have today now. Now, here's what happened. Yesterday, we learned about this man who was at a bar. It was shortly past midnight, late Saturday, early Sunday morning is when it really was.
Banditos, Port Charlotte.
Banditos. And he had to pee, but there was a long line at the bathroom, so he decided he would go outside to a little pond, little lake behind Banditos. And when he got there, all he remembers is he either slipped or tripped or something, so he's in the water, on the edge of the water, and an alligator hits, and he remembers nothing after that. His mother
He woke up in the hospital with one arm.
And Biggie did an impression of his mother who said, it's a miracle. Thank goodness he's okay. You know, that's all that. He was all right, but he had lost an arm.
But there were
says
questions.
Biggie said he claims he was interacting with the alligator.
A lot of people are saying, was he feeding that alligator? Now, his defense was, this bar didn't even serve food.
It's Banditos.
How could I be feeding an alligator?
It's a biker bar. They got pool and drinks.
It turns out that and we all said that there needs to be video of this, okay? Well, there is. The only thing is, what we want to see is the 1 minute before he's attacked by the gator.
This is the I can't remember his first name. This is him being dragged out of the water, soaking wet, bleeding and screaming. There's nothing like I've ever seen.
His name is Manny Hidalgo, by the way. That's right. Yes.
You've seen the unedited video? It sticks with you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never seen, I've always kind of wondered what somebody's arm looks like where it's bitten off. This shows you.
Because we're so used to seeing, Biggie's right, if we're so used to watching something on the Today Show, excuse me, or like Inside Edition, and they blur all that out.
That's right.
But this is unblurred, unfiltered.
This is fractured bone, skin, hanging with T-shirt. I mean, just a mess.
It's unbelievable. Now, what is really perhaps most jarring is the gentleman fashioning a tourniquet with a cigarette
his life.
hanging out of his mouth.
A freshly lit one.
Yeah, he's like got a freshly lit cigarette.
Hey, come here. Come here, bro.
Got bit by an alligator. His whole arm came off, bro.
You're good. You're good, dude. You're good. You're good. You're out of the water now. All right. Roll him over. Roll him over and put a tourniquet on him.
You're a soldier, bro. You
They need to get here.
They've called 911. They've fashioned the tourniquet. They're smoking on top of him. There's beer bottles around him.
That's Banditos.
And they made it. He made it, you know. Those are the heroes. Those are the angels.
And I guess he's in shock.
Has to be. And I understand why he doesn't remember it. But you look at the arm and you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had to turn him. They dragged him out of the water by his good arm. And they had to flip him over to put the tourniquet up on what's left of the other arm. And he was screaming in agony when they would grab that arm. He's like, I got to grab it to put the tourniquet on.
Of course. Oh, man.
He went into that, I wonder if that alligator had him by the arm, just went into that death roll and spun that arm off.
And the arm came off. That may have been.
That's how they do it.
Still, though, I want them to back that video up by 1 minute. But
this is cell phone video.
That's cell phone video. So there's no video.
That's right.
That's cell phone video is what that is.